Welcome to I Love This Thing So Fricking Much, a podcast about passion. My name is Sophie Katz, and today I am joined by Paulomi, a program manager for a medical journal, a TV aficionado, and my former coworker. Welcome to the show, Paulomi.
Thanks so much for having me, Sophie.
Thanks for being here. So, here's how this works. Paulomi will have 3 minutes to talk about something that she loves. This can be a person, place, thing, concept, activity, anything she wants. Our only requirement is that she loves it wholeheartedly and wants to tell us why. Are you ready, Paulomi?
I'm ready.
Good. Got my timer. Now, what do you love so freaking much?
So when Sophie asked me to be on this show, I was like, what should I talk about? And then I realized that I need to tell everyone that I love Elizabeth Stamatina Fey, aka Tina Fey, so freaking much. And that is not just because like, oh my God, did you see her on the Golden Globes? She's so funny. I have loved Tina Fey for so many years, and I would love to tell you why. So I remember being younger and watching SNL and watching her with her blazer on Weekend Update, like with Jimmy Fallon, being hilarious. And then when I got to college, I started watching 30 Rock, and that's when I really realized that her character, Liz Lemon, is literally me. And so I love Tina Fey because I think the impact that she's had on comedy as a woman is something that I aspire to do in whatever field that I end up in. So not only is she beautiful, she's hilarious, she is so talented, but I just love the work that she produces. So not only 30 Rock, she's made Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, she's made Mean Girls, and she's also turned that into a musical. Like, who does that? Who makes a movie that's about this concept that no one's ever seen and then turn it into an even more successful, I would say, I don't know, musical? And I just think that's so cool. But I think the coolest thing about Tina Fey is her backstory. So I don't know if anyone of you know this or have noticed this. She has this scar on her face because when she was younger, she went to dinner with her family and got knifed in the face. And nobody really knows that, but that's such a scary thing to happen to like a young child. And she turned that into a year's worth of comedy. And that's such a dark background. I know that's so weird, but like, wow, way to come out of like that adversity. And then she became the first showrunner or the first female head writer of SNL. Like that's like late 90s, early 2000s. That's the first time that somebody actually broke into the boys club that was SNL and said, you know what? No, I can run this show too. And she really made an impact on comedy in general. So like right now, like one of my favorite people, if you know me, you know this, I love Mindy Kaling. But Mindy Kaling is basically to me an Indian Tina Fey. Like if she hadn't broken in to SNL, if Tina Fey hadn't created 30 Rock, would Mindy Kaling have the success that she has today? Probably not, because that was the first time that a female actually created her own show and without being like the stereotypical beautiful whatever. I mean, I think Tina Fey's gorgeous, but I'm just saying like she looked like a nerd on her show and she portrayed the fact that women are funny. And I just think that's so great. So she's a queen. I love her. I want to meet her. I used to work at Avatar Flight of Passage. She's been to Disney World multiple times and I have never gotten a chance to meet her. So Tina Fey, if you're listening, I want to meet you. Thank you. That's it. I just want to meet her.
That's wonderful. Thank you for telling us about Tina Fey today.
You're so welcome. I just, anytime I can talk about her, trust me, I love doing it.
And that is exactly the kind of content we're looking for in this show.
That's awesome.
Oh goodness. I mean, I have to admit, I did not know that story about her childhood. It really sounds amazing that she came from these, frightening and adverse circumstances and became such a successful comedian.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? And like I only learned that because like I said, sometimes I have like a sort of obsessive personality. Like once I like something, I want to know everything about it.
Oh yeah.
So I like if you look at pictures of her, she still has that scar on her face. And like, I read an article about that and I was like, why does she have a scar on her face? And then I learned that and I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. Like that, you wouldn't expect that from like such a big comedian. But I mean, we saw that with Robin Williams too. Like a lot of people turned like bad circumstances into comedy. And I guess Tina Fey is no exception.
Definitely. I think something I've heard somewhere is that like comedy and drama are really like dealing with the same sorts of things, just taking
Mm-hmm.
a different approach to it. And I think the best comedians are the people who are able to take anything that's very dramatic and turn it into something that will give people joy.
I think that's absolutely true.
Do you have any? So I know you talked about so many different things that she's performed and been in and created. Is there any, maybe it's a Saturday Night Live sketch, maybe it's an episode of 30 Rock or one of her movies, anything that stands out to you as this is my favorite Tina Fey thing?
That is such a hard question, but yes, I think, okay, so if you're a fan of 30 Rock, there's these things called like Lemonisms, which are just like things that Liz Lemon says that
Mm-hmm.
are just so relatable. And like, I literally said one of them yesterday, which she's like, who has two thumbs and speaks a limited amount of French? This moi. It's just like stupid stuff like that she says on the show that are just so funny. Or like, there's this one episode where she's like, talking about how she's single for so long, and then she sees this wedding dress and she's like buying it and spreading it over multiple credit cards, and she's like, this is my plan for my life. I'm going to buy this dress, then I'm gonna die, and then I'm gonna meet a cute guy in heaven. And that's just so funny, like especially when I was in college, like really relating to the whole single life and stuff. I was like, this woman is just so relatable. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's the best thing about her.
Absolutely, that it's something that you can connect to. Maybe she's saying the things that you've thought but never really wanted to put into words before.
Exactly. She even says like one day she's like, oh, if you don't have enough underwear, just wear a bathing suit. And I was like, see, no, why would you say that on TV? But like
Huh.
relatable content, am I right? Like,
Yeah, it's like,
I've never done it, but life lessons from Tina Fey. There you go.
yeah, it's one of those things. It's like, hadn't thought of before, but also, why not?
Exactly.
Can you tell me a little more about Tina Fey's impact on comedy as a woman?
Sure. So like I am by no means an expert on like females in comedy and stuff, but from what my personal experience, what I've seen, like, we all know like Lucille Ball, we know like Fran Fine from The Nanny, like we've always seen these like beautiful women that are like the show, like the front main character of a comedy series, but seeing Tina Fey do improv, especially coming from a background, like she used to work in Chicago, like with Stephen Colbert and Seth Meyers and them. Improv has always been, or like stand-up comedy has kind of always been like a boys club, especially like in my mind. Mm-hmm. So when I see Tina Fey and like Amy Poehler, Maya Rudolph, like that age of SNL, I just feel like that's the first time that you didn't have to play a character to be funny. I mean, SNL obviously has sketches, but like they were famous because they were who they were and they had the ability to do stuff. And like Tina Fey's always said, like when she wears a wig, like she looks like Tina Fey. Like she can never pretend to be somebody else, where like Amy Poehler can put on a wig and like be somebody else. Mm-hmm. So Tina Fey was exactly who she was. And then that's what has brought her success. And that's something that I have always aspired to do. Like just be exactly who you are, be your nerdy self, and then see where that takes you. Because I think it's as important as like finding your niche, and that's what she was able to do.
Absolutely. And it sounds like she really defined her own niche as herself.
Exactly. And that's so inspiring to me.
Because ideally, by being yourself, then as she did, you make it possible for other people to break out and be themselves too.
Exactly. And that's exactly what she's done too. And like, I mean, I'm not saying like these people are not, talented on their own, by no means, but like if she hadn't created 30 Rock, would Amy Poehler have been able to create Parks and Rec? I don't know.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think especially in the entertainment industry, but probably is true for any industry, women got to prove that it's possible for a woman to be good at the thing before anyone else is going to give them the time seriously. Of day. Yeah.
Exactly.
Is there anything that you don't like about Tina Fey? And if so, how do you handle that?
So like most comedians, I feel like Tina Fey has also had some things that you're like, oh, that's not great. And and so like, for example, like in 30 Rock or in the Golden Globe, like she did a lot of like North Korea jokes. And like, personally, I did not like that at all. And I was like, oh, that's really weird. But I think like most people, she's grown from that too. And like now the stuff that she puts out, like she tries to be more understanding of like the impact that what she's putting out there has on other people. And I think that's important. Like, for example, like when 30 Rock is like, I think it's 30 Rock. Well, something is like on Peacock right now. Like they removed a certain scene from 30 Rock because she doesn't think that's right anymore. So I think she's growing. Like, obviously she's not perfect. Like, yeah, you love to idolize people. Nobody's perfect. But I really respect the fact that she's learning, even though she's like, you know, much older, and she has taken responsibility for some of the bad decisions that she's made. And I think that that's good. But like, nobody's perfect, and I'm aware of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I certainly don't think we can ignore it if when someone has, you know, made someone the butt of a joke, and the person who's making the butt of the joke, they're really only making things worse for them instead of making a joke that isn't hurting anyone. But at the same time, you got to acknowledge and appreciate it when someone says, yes, I should not have made that joke and I will not do it in the future. That it shows that they're willing to grow and learn, and that's important.
Exactly.
Paulomi, thank you so much for telling us about something you love today.
Thank you so much for having me. This was really fun.
Well, the pleasure's all mine. And thank you, our listeners, for tuning in today. If you would like to learn more about Tina Fey or our guest Paulomi, you can find her social media information in the episode description. And don't forget to use the hashtag #LoveThisThingCast to tell us about the things you love. I Love This Thing So Fricking Much is a production of Through the Window Media. This episode was directed by Sophie A. Katz and edited by Melissa Block. You can find us at Through the Window on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or Tumblr. That is THROU, the window, at all those social media sites. Be good to yourself, be kind to each other, and you'll hear from us again soon.